Niger State. Currently, it's not just Benue that we have now. We had attacked in this week or in the last 72 hours, let me say, Enugu has been hit, Abia, it has also been hit. Literally, you look at the whole of Nigeria, there's no part of Nigeria there's no insecurity, and people are not, being killed in one way or the other.
Relatively, some will say the Southwest, for instance, perhaps.
The Southwest still has its own. It's just like, so what we have now, it's almost as if we're no longer sensitive to the fact that people are being killed. So if it's just a few, 10, 2, 3, just like, nothing is going on. But of course, every part of it, the Southwest is also feeling its own impact. And it's increasing to the extent that even in Abuja, we are not feeling safe. I'm sure, I think some weeks ago, there was actually some bomb blast near a military, formation.
Sometimes there was a failed, suicide attack, even though the authorities debunk it. But the would-be bomber, was said to have been killed by the IEDs, he's trapped.
So the thing is that people are like saying, the would-be bomber has been killed, and so how many other people are attempting to come in? The issue, first of all, that should concern every one of us is that how did they breach? How did they get to that extent? And I will tell you, in the history of Nigerian suicide bombers, we've never been able to identify even one. Are these people ghosts in this day and era where literally something can be done to follow the identification of, so whether it would be DNA, would they be using their faces, their fingerprint? Has any of this ever been done to even say, can we track who these people are, and then be able to track within the last 24 hours for 48, 72, 1 week, 1 month of the incidents? Where were they? Who were they interacting with? How many of them are coming? Is this a lone person, or is there a group? Are there sleeper cells around Abuja? We just sit down and feel these things that it has happened, it's gone. One of the things that we all need to understand is that government's responsibility is to protect lives and properties and take care of the welfare of the people. That's why people give up of their sovereignty. And I see a lot of people, calling out on Benue people and telling them that, you people should go and defend yourself and all of that. How are they going to defend themselves?
Former Senate President was saying, that with the way things are going, people may be forced, to
and buy arms with what?
To go take.
Are they ready to supply those arms? So the thing is this. You see, like I tweeted earlier today, I said it's very easy to tell people to go and defend themselves, community to go and defend themselves, until it happens to your own community. You realize how helpless you are. It's not just about buying the guns. Who has trained who? Who is going to do this work? There's a reason why people give up of their sovereignty, they give up of the wealth, of their collective wealth, to a certain group of people to be able to take care of, because in that way their security and their welfare will primarily be taken care of, and then they can go on and continue to do the things that they're doing. We have a situation where there is absolute sort of like disregard for human lives. It's not even about the terrorists even attacking. What is even the empathy from government? Is there anything that you're seeing there that shows that there's care that people are being killed? I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, you saw Mr. Tinubu coming out to say that he was thanking someone for actually drawing their attention to do a 1 minute of silence for the people that had been killed, and then he coming out to say that he's going to adjust his schedule, that this killing is sort of
schedule to make sure that he paid well for
adjusted so that he goes there. We're talking about tragedy. We're talking about 200 human beings. I mean, this is what you drop everything up. You fly a helicopter and go there. It's not to use helicopter to intimidate people living in Abuja, either when you're flying or you're coming back, or get your entourage to welcome you. And then now you're clearing the table, and you're seeing the governor of Abia State telling his people who are mourning that they should come out in colorful numbers and come and do some parade. Is that fair? That alone.
Benue State, not
apologies. That's Benue State. So the governor of Benue State is now telling his people that they should come out and do colorful parade. For people who are mourning, people who are crying, you've seen some people who are telling you that over 20 members of their families have been killed. Literally, lineages are being wiped out, towns are being wiped out, and people are being driven away, and some people are taking over this whole thing. So where is even that show that shows that there is care for the life? Before we even talk about in terms of what is being done to protect the people, for us to even see that the lives of the average Nigerian citizen matter. But I tell you something, if it was the life of any one of the so-called VIPs, whatever, that is taking, or their families, they know what to do. But when it comes to the lives of the ordinary Nigerians, then it seems as if, it's nothing. As far as they are concerned, is collateral damage. Maybe they feel with over 200 million, we are so many that people can be killed and it shouldn't matter.
Well, I don't think anybody who has taken an oath of office to protect the lives of people would allow that to happen. But then they will also tell you that they've been taking necessary steps, to address this problem. For instance, just last week or so, within the week, the president had to direct, the military authority, the chief of army staff was relocated to Benue, and a couple of days, later, the IGP also, and the CDS, the chief of defense staff, virtually all the apparatus of government in terms of security are in Benue. Shouldn't that signal or signpost some level of commitment or concerns over the killings?
Have you ever heard of a motion without movement? Because that's what it means. So the thing is this. So we were so good at what I call just the optics. So at the end of the day, oh, okay, yeah, move this one here, move that one there. But in what way does it translate to action? First of all, let's even come back to me. We have seen a lot of our soldiers who are crying out and saying that things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Some of them have written letters. Some of them have done videos. Some of them in the public domain crying out on how they're being denied from actually carrying out their constitutional duties. Some of them are talking of in terms of, oh, they're not getting the necessary materials, equipment that they need. Their welfare is not being taken care of and all of that. Who is going to fight this war? They are. They're talking about they don't have the right arms. Have we checked to ensure that they are being taken care of? Because it's not the CDS or the chief of army staff or whatever it is flying in their fancy, a private jet, landing there, going into their fancy hotel, sitting down, sipping some martini or whatever it is they are sipping, and then they're just justing and they're telling us that, oh, they've sent so and so.
I say they are not on
what
the field.
Is on ground?
What is on ground? To the
what is the
areas.
intelligence? What is the intelligence? Let's even leave the military for now. Where is DSS? When it comes to protesters, right? We have the DSS to come out and tell us that, oh, they have intel on what ABCD that is going to happen. But when it comes to citizens being killed, you never see them, getting that intel to stop some of these things. Though they will tell us that, oh, they are stopping a lot. It's only the ones that, please, they aren't stopping nothing. Where are they in the whole of this? And we've seen the Benue State, governor coming out to talk about the fact that these people are so and so people. They came through the boat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he talked about that. It's political, whatever in Abuja. Why can't he name names? What is he afraid of? Is he not a man of God? If he die, he die. He pass any other thing.
But it is the same governor you are saying is mobilizing for colorful reception.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. They just there's something called lip service. You understand? That's what sometimes they do. He has also come out to say that the attackers came in through boats, through rivers. If he has this much information, why is he not sitting down with the military, with DSS, with whatever it is that they collaborate and ensure
of the state.
They do this thing? In terms of chief security officer, so because of the way Nigerian security architecture is, he's as powerless as anything. The only thing he's capable of is calling police to come and tear gas protesters, which they have done anyways, because people that were protesting the killings that has happened have been tear gas. But when it comes, the box is supposed to stop at the table of a president and commander-in-chief. And but what you expect from a governor is that, first of all, show empathy to your people, cry out and talk about the fact that your people are being killed, and be there. Not necessarily that you just sit down and then you're trying to make excuses.
Yeah, even though some would say the noise he was making, the outcry was the one. What generated the attention of the?
No, he didn't
attracted the attention of the government. But let's look at
which outcry?
Let's look at the
No,
issues.
Don't drop anything and go. Which outcry? The only thing he was blaming. He never called on the architecture that is supposed to do that directly. He never did.
Okay.
He only blamed citizens, blamed other people, but never did.
Let's look deep into the crisis. For instance, the one in Benue and perhaps other states within the Middle Belt or within the North Central, has been a protracted one. It has been there for quite some time, largely, between pastoralists and of course farmers. It does happen, and at some point even the president yesterday admitted that there is need for collaboration. There is a need for mutual understanding between the communities. You'll find out that sometimes the pastoralists are being attacked, or their herds are being attacked, killed, and then you find reprisals where they go and also kill the inhabitants and all of that. But how do you think this can be resolved? Many believe that it is not about a kinetic approach. It's not about the boots on ground, the military, the police, or whatever. It's about coming together of these people, to face each other and then, agree on I mean, the need for them to live together in peace. Do you subscribe to that?
I think the first thing, no, I don't.
Okay.
The first thing is that this is not a farmer herdsman clashes.
Okay.
This is not two communities having an issue. This is terrorism. People are being killed. People are being driven out of their lands are being taken. I saw the statement that Mr. Tinubu put out, and I also heard what he said, which does not, capture the essence of what is happening. How are you blaming telling community leaders that they should come together and resolve issues? But in 2014, he didn't tell Jonathan to tell community leaders to resolve issues. He was telling former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan that the buck stops at his table. So now that he has rigged the election to enter into office, say, no, hold on. So this is the thing. That's why it took you a long time to get me. It's
your opinion.
Exactly. Anyway. So don't do this thing. This is my opinion. And that's the reason why I will always say that Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not my president. You haven't seen me refer to him as, you can call him whatever you need to call me. I'm the guest. I'm Aisha Yusufu. And this is what.
And you're owning up to.
Oh, this is my statement. Right. This is my statement. Whoever wants to hear it, that's the person should hear. But I should be allowed to air my statement the way I want to. So when Mr. Tinubu put out that statement, he said that the community leaders and political leaders should mind the statements they make, should come together, should collect. No, it's not. It's not two communities fighting. It's not farmers and herders. It is terrorists coming out and terrorizing the people, wiping out communities. And sometimes there has been allegations that they take over, this land. So we should call a spade and not a guarded.
And where do you think these terrorists are coming from? Because if you look at the architecture, and then you look at the scenario, you look at the frequency of the attack, the nature of the attack, some will say these are, recurring issues. So
let me tell you what is recurring about this. And I think sometimes Nigeria, we don't connect the dots. We are sitting down here and the whole food baskets around the country, they are being attacked and being decimated. You understand? Terrorists, full-blown terrorist attack on them. And I'm talking of, if you look at, and this is not, you look at Benue, which happens to be one of the food basket. You look at Benue, you look at Nasarawa, you look at Niger, you look at Plateau, you look at Sokoto, you look at Borno, you come to Edo. Edo North is the food basket of Edo. So I'm from Edo North. Our people are being killed. The only thing is our deaths have not mattered because, we are not saying that. We are the minority of the minority. So as long as they are being killed, then nobody really cares. People have been crying. The same terrorists, you understand, killer herdsmen that have been attacking all of these places are also attacking, part of Edo North. And that's where Nigerians are supposed to sit down and say, who is it that want us to go hungry in a way that they're taking out the arable lands that we have, where we are having a lot of farmers? I mean, is it 100 or something Zabari farmers, rice farmers? Okay, 200. Who is going to replace them? That's a whole, talent being killed there. And then we're sitting down and say we are hungry. If you want to destroy a country by even making it starve, you're also going to destroy it. So we are not looking at this. That's why people keep saying that, it's some farmer herdsmen. No, it isn't. And even when you look at places like Zamfara and other places also, you see the issue of mineral resources also coming to play. But what are we doing? We are having leaders who are not connecting the dots, who don't seem to care, who are looking at grandiose projects that are conduit pipe for them to continue to control whatever resources that they're controlling, while the country, is being attacked from all sides. These are things that should worry us. And most importantly, what I always want Nigerians to know is that we are all victims waiting to happen. Now,
so where is the weakest? I mean, where is the lapses now? Because if we're talking about, yes, we're talking about foreign herders, armed herders, infiltrating the country through the borders, and then coming to inflict casualties on our communities, farming communities in particular. You talked about the mining communities also being attacked and all of that. What's responsible for this? We have neighboring countries that, ought to have been in collaboration with us, to address some of this concerns.
We have been the problem.
Okay, we have been the problem.
Yes, because they've always said it. We have been the ones that will not, do our own part. We've been the ones that our military, there have been a lot of sabotages. We've been the one that, when it comes to intelligence, we don't provide the intelligence, even when they do their work. And let me tell you something. One of the things that the terrorists have found very good is that when they have terrorist attack in other places, the place that they run to escape is actually Nigeria. Remember the other time, I think it's the United States, they kidnapped some of their citizens in Niger Republic, and then they came into Nigeria. And it was when they came out and took out the terrorists and rescued their own, citizens that we knew about it. So Nigeria has been the weakest link, even with the other neighboring countries that we have. And then the issue that you have to ask also is that who is profiteering from the insecurity? Because it seems as if there are certain group of people who don't want the insecurity to end, and for them it keeps going on. You're putting a budget anyhow, money, conduit pipe, and a whole lot of things, are going on. Let's come even to intelligence. You cannot fight insecurity without intelligence. It's not the one that you just say, oh, conventional war and all of that. We have a failing, because when it comes to intelligence gathering, we are not doing enough. And then there's no that, how do I put in a collaboration between civilians and security agencies. Why? You collaborate with security agencies, you give them information. Guess what is going to happen next? The terrorists are going to come exactly to you and tell you the same thing that you've reported to them. So there's no trust. Even the Zabarmari farmers, what happened to them? Was it not because they had also reported attack, that it was reprisal that they went on and they killed them in the gruesome manner that they did?
Right. I was talking about lack of collaboration or lack of confidence on the part of the public. Even the CDS, just yesterday or so, was talking about the fact that there is insider collaboration with those, killer herdsmen who were said to have attacked those communities, because the information was actually given from within the communities. I mean, intelligence, looking at the nature of the attacks and what have you. But then, because we don't have much time, trying to just oppose what is happening. We're just talking about insecurity alone. It is happening at the time Nigeria is also grappling with economic challenges. People are suffering, the hardship and what have you. But the government is also giving hope that things are getting better. Really? Things are, turning around. Are you hopeful? Looking at the indices, they tell you that foreign reserve is increasing. Just yesterday, inflation is dropping, and quite a number of the indices are becoming more and more responsive to the.
Policies are people-centric, right?
Right.
There's a thing about propaganda. You can do propaganda during election, before election, and all of that during campaign, but you can't use propaganda to govern, because the essence of governance is how much it affects, people's life. And no matter how much government lies, no matter the fake news or whatever, people are going to feel the effect, and they know what they're seeing. They know how much to go to the market, things that they buy, they can no longer afford to buy them. They know how expensive things are. They know the fact that their purchasing powers have been reduced. There is nothing. And if you're talking about statistics, we have come to a place where Nigeria has the highest number of starving children in the world right now. You're talking about poor people. We are the poverty capital. You're talking about internal mortality, maternal mortality, and all of that. A whole lot of that are happening. We've seen more in terms of industries. Companies are leaving the country because there are no longer favorable environment for them to work in. And what we see is stupendous waste of money. You're seeing how many trillion, 20-something trillion that was spent on Coastal Road, where companies were destroyed, people's properties were destroyed, some worth hundreds of millions of dollars, one person's investment being taken out for a road, and then at the end of the day, they say that, oh, that road can't go through that particular place. They didn't do their homework, even when they were told, to do their homework. You see the issue of 39 billion naira, being spent on to refurbish the ICC, and you're wondering at what cost? Because there's something called opportunity cost, right? Nobody says you want to refurbish it, but at what could you have used 39 billion to do? You're talking about even later on this discussion you're going to have about children who are out of school, primary school. These are the treasures of this country, but they are at home, and the rest of us, our kids are there. But let me mention something before I quickly forget, is the fact that the military has constantly taken on, recruited and enlisted terrorists into the military.
How?
In the way they call it, what do they call it? Repentant terrorists. I have never heard in any place where you carry people and say they are repentant, and then take them into your military for them to gather more information. And a lot of times,
have they been taken into the military?
No, they have been
rehabilitated. No, take you back to their community.
No. You are the journalist now. Go and check it out. They take them in. They call them repentant, Boko Haram repentant terrorists, and they are enlisted into the military, given everything, and they have access to information. And over time, even the military themselves have come to give the fact that some of them have gone back, and yet they are still enlisted. Who does that? Who carries someone who has killed you? You say, oh, they repent. Why then do we have anybody in prison? Let's all open the prison door and let who will not repent? Everybody will be repentant now. But when you tell them out,
but there is
I'm questioning them.
There is a mechanism of how the military does all of this.
Which mechanism? The mechanism that is killing us. It's not only killing us, it's killing the military. In the last I think 2 months, have you seen the casualty we've had? Have you seen how many military personnel that we've lost? Those are human beings. It's affecting lives. We're talking about Borno. This is not politics. These are lives. You know what it is for someone to grow a human being at 9 months in the womb, give birth to their child, put everything in. At the prime of their lives, they are being taken out. And we've seen a lot of them, and they're talking about sabotage. Look, let me tell you something. I've said this thing before, and I will say it again. There is a need for there to be an assessment of the military to even ensure, do we have the military that we say we have? Are there ghost militaries? Because sometimes the places they're supposed to be, someone is there. Look, when we have ghost workers, right, they take money from the system. But when we have ghost military, they not only take money, they also kill people's lives. I think it was Iraq in 2014 that did that, what do you call it now, to check their military and whatever, and they were able to get audit it. Let me use the word audit. They were able to get 50,000 ghost soldiers. Only God knows how many ghost soldiers.
Already the numbers are not adding up. Here we agree that there's an educated number of, put together all the security is not more than 1 million, and you have over 230 million people. So you can guess, what that would do.
No, beyond that, even the numbers we say we have are not up to the numbers.
Right. Okay. Very quickly, before I get you to suggest, to make recommendations, because what the government keeps saying is that, okay, people in the opposition like you always pinpoint, you are very good at looking at the gaps, but you don't provide solutions. So let me tell you something. You see, they don't say it. It's journalists like you that say it. Well, and this is the problem I have with journalism in Nigeria. Just recently.
No, hold on. Let me land on this because I'm putting you on the spot now.
But we're not
you're very quick. You don't need to respond. I will say you're very quick to ask opposition to give solution, to profile solution. All the solutions that are being provided, nobody listens to them, right? But you never sit down with the people who are actually wasting, who have voted to profile solution and ask them and grill them to profile solution.
Let me tell you something. Listening. Take for instance, just a very quick one. I know that your principal, Peter Obi, just recently, was call out the president and did mention that it is not ideal for the president to sit while people are being killed in Benue. He needs to be there himself, and then a couple of hours later, he shaped all his plans to go to Kaduna.
Yeah, so
isn't that also being responsive?
So the issues about fight corruption, stop the wasteful spending, 21 trillion is not supposed to be used on a road when we have a lot of internal roads that are bad, that actually connect. Mokwa Bridge just went down, that connects that one. The fact that all of that shouldn't, they are not listening to. So because he now decided to pick and go to this thing, that's what we call listening. The thing is that we can kid ourselves as much as we want. At the end of the day, it's our lives that are being destroyed. You see these people who are in office, they've taken care of themselves, their children, and probably their lineages. The other ones, and they're so far away. If Nigeria goes down today, they're going to jump on their private jets and leave the country. But you and I are going to be stuck here. And we're going to stuck here with those children who are outside, for example, who have spent over 2 months at home, and a whole lot of them who have not been given opportunity are the ones that will come at us. So we can put the words as much as we want to, but at the end of the day, the failure that we are seeing today is going to affect every one of us.
But here we are at a crossroad. We talk about the security issues, we talk about the economic issues, but both sides, both the government and the opposition seems to be neck deep into politicking, 2027. That's what's on the table. Opposition is galvanizing, coming up together to come up with an alliance or coalition, as they call it. The government is busy pushing for, defections into its own fold and, endorsements and all of that. Shouldn't all share the blame now? Because if really, as a nation, we're at a crossroad, why are we not coming together to salvage it?
If you don't do your job well, will anybody blame you? This interview we are doing, if you don't do it well, will I be blamed as your guest? I wouldn't, because you are the one with the responsibility to make this work. So why are you bringing opposition into governance?
Nation building is not just for...
No, hold on. Nation, we are talking about governance. Nation building is part of them right from day one, that their election had been rigged and taken away from them, that they begin to prepare for 2027 election. You have someone where there is failure, hasn't done anything. They're already preparing. They are no longer governing you. They are preparing for 2027 election, and you're talking about nation building. You are bringing opposition into it. Can't you call out those who are destroying the lives of the people? Opposition have its own. Opposition's business is to politic. You understand? And opposition has, when they bring out the things,
a distraction? Because
how is it a distraction? Or they should go home and sleep and hide? How is it a distraction?
We all know that it is not yet time for this.
Why is it not yet time?
So by the time we begin to talk about, chasing the government out, grabbing power, you're also distracting the government in power.
Really, if Nigeria was really a democracy, the people who are in office today, Mr. Tinubu, would have been impeached. The National Assembly would have called for the impeachment. A state of emergency was declared in Rivers State. And we saw the way the kangaroo passing that the National Assembly did to get their 2/3. The people are being killed all over Nigeria. State of emergency should be put all over Nigeria. You understand? Mr. Tinubu should have been impeached all this while. And if you're talking about distraction, that, what people are doing is going to distract the people who decided to rig office and go in there right now, then they had no business. They had no business. Aisha that is speaking. You are the one that is speaking. So definitely it's my estimation. So they have no business being in office. Why do you make them look as if they are infants who don't know what they're supposed to do? Why do you make all the excuses for them? But you're ready to hold opposition accountable. You're ready. Nigerians are ready to hold citizens who owe them nothing accountable. Meanwhile, the ones that have taken Nigeria's money, wasting it. When Mr. Tinubu wanted to buy that big car, what did they call it? Is it Escalade? What did they call it? He didn't ask you for he didn't ask whether you can afford the small Toyota me and you used to afford before. We can no longer afford it. When he wanted to spend money to buy, is it yacht? Is it private? Is it presidential jet? He didn't think about you. You are the one not making excuses for him. Even in spite of our suffering, we are making citizens are making excuses for them. They didn't think about all of this. And when they're spending money, now it's INEC office they're going to build. Meanwhile, do you know how many primary health care centers don't have what they're supposed to have? How many schools, how many children how many out-of-school children that we have that money could be used for? They're building houses for judiciary, for judges and all of that, and then we sit down and we're making excuses for them. If they are being distracted, then they don't have any business in office.
Okay, I wish we could go on. I understand, but we have to, call for, put it plan into it at this point, while we take on the next conversation. Thank you very much, Aisha Yesufu, for talking to us on Daily Politics. We do hope we have you some other time to discuss more on this.
Thank you so much. But before I go, let me just quickly say that unfortunately for us, that access to good quality education is now dependent on the economic status of one's family. So if you are born into a family that is poor, you don't have access to good quality education. I think for me that's the greatest injustice in Nigeria. We cannot have a Nigeria where we are being told that people should celebrate humongous projects that are being built, but our children that should be in school learning, they've been at home and nobody seems to care.
It will shock you to know that after Benue State was struck by the Fulani herdsmen, Abia State was struck, Enugu State was struck, even Plateau State. I mean, these people are everywhere. Somebody made a video saying that indeed Fulani has surrounded Nigeria. These guys, they've taken over everywhere. And you know what? They do all these things and nobody's been arrested. Nobody's been prosecuted. Even Tinubu went to Benue to question the IG of police on how come nobody was arrested after the attack that claimed more than 200 lives. Now, Aisha Yesufu has come out to make a whole lot of revelation about the Nigerian army and the connivance that is being seen these days, because recently someone from Benue State was even testifying that the attack they came, a military man was equally involved. So guys, a whole lot of compromise in Nigeria's security architecture. One, just keep wondering how we are going to survive this, because you are not just fighting your enemies, even those who are meant to protect you are now turning out to become your enemies. Today on Twitter, a Fulani man was testifying that they are being provided guns to go carry out this attack. That is not the cow that is giving them gun. That people in authority are the ones giving them the gun to. So guys, this country is gone. It's gone. Just take your. So guys, there've been a lot of backlash, reactions, buzzwords going on the social media after Tinubu came out to tell the people of Benue to share their land with the Fulanis, that there is enough land to share. You can imagine Tinubu in Benue, there is enough land to share, accommodates everybody. Just the same statement that Buhari made during his time. The question remains, what is the covenant APC entered with the Fulanis? What is that covenant that Nigerians are yet to understand? You can imagine in the midst of all this crime, people who went to bed and they are just on their own jeje, people came and buy them, and Tinubu is saying, go and give them land. I don't understand the kind of people we call leaders in this country. Now, people are telling Tinubu, go and start with Lagos State, start with Osun and Lagos, share the land. This one Igbo people are buying lands and you are destroying them in the name of the built on the wrong places. While this land they bought, they were registered. People collected money and approved it for building. When they build, you now realize it was built on a wrong place and you come demolition. But you are asking people of Benue to share their own land, their ancestral land. With it means that Tinubu can never solve insecurity problem, just like Buhari did. It means that Tinubu cannot even bring back these IDP camp members, back to their home. Tinubu did not even campaign among the real people in their communities, let alone going to IDP camps to campaign. So Tinubu coming out to tell Nigerians to share land with terrorists that we've been told they are not Nigerians, that they are coming from outside the country, and Tinubu's own is share land with them. There's enough land to share. It shows that Tinubu is not even worth being a president. I mean it. Instead of this man to come out and open his eyes and talk to the Fulani communities for his own interests, he cannot do that. He just wants to be playing politics with the lives of people. After 200 people were taken off in their sleep, in their sleep, not as if they were awake, children, old, young. Guess what? Tinubu is telling Nigerians to share more lands with the Fulanis who are coming from outside the country, that there is enough land to be shared. Tinubu, start from Lagos, start from Osun State. That's the response coming from Nigerians.